The independent pathologist could not rule out foul play. The red discoloration on the back of Nolan's head, cause unknown. But the most significant finding wasn't what the autopsy found. It was what was missing. The throat structures, the trachea, the internal neck tissues were not in Nolan's body when the independent pathologist received it. They had been removed during the first autopsy, and until that pathologist gets those tissues back, he cannot rule out injury to the neck as a cause or contributor to death. The state autopsy is complete. The results are sealed. They go directly to the grand jury, and nobody outside that room will know what Mississippi's medical examiner found. Before we go any further, if you are watching this because you want the documented facts, not the viral speculation, not the fake autopsy reports that have been circulating online, hit subscribe right now. Crime Collective Files builds every video on verified sources and confirmed public record. This case is still moving. The grand jury has not met. The state autopsy results are sealed. The throat tissue has not been returned to the independent pathologist, and the cell phone inspection has not happened. You do not want to find out what comes next from somebody else's 15-second clip. The independent pathologist flew to Washington, D.C. on July 10, 2026. He was Dr. Roger A. Mitchell, Jr., board-certified forensic pathologist, president of the National Medical Association, former chief medical examiner of the District of Columbia. A man with credentials that are not in question. He received Nolan Wells's body for examination and prepared to conduct the second autopsy this family had fought to have performed. And then he opened the body and discovered that something critical was not there. Parts of Wells's throat were not in his body when it was received for review. The internal neck structures, including the trachea, had been removed during the state autopsy conducted in Mississippi on July 7th. They were not returned with the body. Dr. Mitchell did not have them. He could not examine them. And without them, he could not reach a conclusion about one of the most forensically significant possibilities in this case. Therefore, this pathologist cannot rule out injury to the neck as a contributor or a cause of death, Ben Crump said, reading from Dr. Mitchell's report at the NACWS-AP National Convention in Chicago on July 22nd. Mitchell also wrote that he could not rule out the possibility that non-accidental factors played a role. The cause and manner of Nolan Wells's death, undetermined, pending further investigation. Undetermined, not drowning, not confirmed accident, undetermined. The state autopsy is complete. The results are expected to be sealed until the autopsy is presented to a grand jury, which will determine whether a crime occurred. Nobody outside that grand jury room will know what Mississippi's medical examiner found. Not the family, not the public, not the press, until that process runs its course. Dr. Mitchell is working to obtain Nolan's throat for examination. It was not present at the time of the second autopsy. The throat is missing from the body of an 18-year-old who died in unexplained circumstances in the water off Horn Island, Mississippi. The pathologist who needs it to rule out neck injury cannot rule that injury out until he gets it back. And the state results that might tell us what Mississippi found are locked in a sealed file headed for a grand jury. This is what we know about the death of Nolan Xavier Wells as of the first week of August, 2026. And the fact that we know so little, by design and by forensic circumstance, is itself the most important forensic story in this case. On July 3, 2026, Nolan Xavier Wells made his family salmon for dinner. He hugged his mother, Christine. He kissed her, and he left for a friend's house to get ready for the 4th of July holiday. His mother's description of that goodbye has 3 words: hug, kiss, and he left. Nolan Xavier Wells was 18 years old. He grew up in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, a Gulf Coast town east of Biloxi. He graduated from Ocean Springs High School in 2025 as a multi-sport athlete and enrolled at Southwest Mississippi Community College, where he played wide receiver on the football team. 6'1", 180 pounds. A sophomore, he had a Division I football tryout scheduled for the Monday they found him. His high school coach, Jake Bramlett, said after his death, "Nolan's character spoke louder than his accomplishments." His teacher remembered him as thoughtful, steady, present. The man he once worked for renting out water slides told CNN, "The things that he did while he was here on Earth, it left a statement in a lot of people's hearts." His father Elmore said at the July 22nd press conference, "We want to know what happened to our son, because the things that you're telling us, that's not the character of our son. We know our son." Christine Wansley spoke the sentence that has stayed with this case from the moment she said it at the same press conference. "The only question we have is what happened to our son. That is the only question. And the documents that might answer it are sealed in a Mississippi grand jury file that has not yet been presented." Horn Island is a federally protected barrier island, part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore, approximately 10 to 12 miles off the Mississippi coast. It is managed by the National Park Service. Their own documentation confirms it plainly. No staff, no drinking water, no shelter, no facilities, and no communication on the island. Access by boat only. A newly completed independent analytical review of photographs, videos, GPS coordinates, and witness accounts concludes that the available evidence still leaves a material gap in the timeline between Wells's last independently corroborated sighting and the reported departure of the boat that transported him to the island. That 22-page review was conducted independently. It reached no conclusion about criminal or civil responsibility. It identified evidence investigators may still need to resolve unanswered questions. Material gap. Those are the specific words used in a 22-page analytical document reviewing all available photographic, video, GPS, and witness evidence in this case. There is a material gap between the last confirmed sighting of Nolan Wells and the moment the boat left Horn Island. Crump's team is having forensic audio specialists review the complete sea tow emergency call from July 4th, while ocean engineering experts are examining how Wells' body ultimately came to be recovered near the northwestern tip of Horn Island. The ocean engineering question is specifically significant. Nolan's body was found at the northwest tip, the same location where he was last seen. Brian Trasher of the United Cajun Navy noted early in this investigation that if Nolan had drifted extensively in the currents, he would likely have been carried miles south toward Louisiana. Instead, he came back to almost exactly where his last known position was. The engineering analysis of how that happened and what the current patterns were on the night of July 4th is now part of the formal investigation. What the analysis is asking is specific. Did the body's position when found match what the currents would naturally produce for a person who drowned at the point Brian's friends say he was last seen? Or does the body's location suggest something different about where he entered the water? That is the question ocean engineering experts are now being paid to answer. Here is the complete, confirmed, sourced sequence of July 4th, 2026. The group departed a private dock in the Ocean Springs area at approximately 9:56 a.m. They arrived at Horn Island at 11:14 a.m. GPS data from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, obtained by CBS News and confirmed as a documented record. From 11:14 a.m. until approximately 3 p.m., the group is on the island. Nolan is with them. He is photographed. He is seen. A normal 4th of July holiday by every account of the day. Around 3 p.m., Nolan is last seen on the north end of the island, talking to a young woman he had met there that day. The question of what Nolan said to that woman about his plans is the forensic spine of this entire case. The sea tow emergency call. "Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're going. We're sinking. Can you all please come?" The dispatcher asked if everyone was aboard. The caller said yes, everyone's on board. 4:31 p.m. The boat departed Horn Island. GPS confirms this. Nolan was not on it. His phone was. The boat moved 4 more times after departure, to Fort Bayou, back to the dock, to the Fort Bayou boat launch, and then transported overland to a Biloxi residence. All time-stamped, all confirmed by GPS. Midnight, July 4th. Christine Wansley reports her son missing to the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Approximately 11 p.m., July 4th. A friend of Nolan's had already called the Coast Guard. The formal multi-agency search request from the Sheriff's Office would not come until noon the following day. That 13-hour gap has never been publicly explained by the Sheriff's Office. July 6th, 8:45 a.m. A National Park Service ranger spotted a body in the water off the northwest tip of Horn Island. Face down, wearing the same blue swim trunks visible in photographs taken the day he disappeared. Dental records confirmed his identity July 7th. Nolan Xavier Wells, 18 years old, found at the same northwestern stretch of coastline where he was last seen, 2 days after he disappeared. For weeks, the friends who were on Horn Island with Nolan remained publicly silent. They had obtained legal representation. Their parents had posted publicly when speculation online threatened to become something more than speculation. But the friends themselves said nothing. Until Warren Hudson spoke. Warren Hudson, who was on that boat with Wells, told the New York Post that claims that he had something to do with his friend's death are hurtful. He said, "It's a sick world we're living in. It's terrible. Nolan was my best friend. There's no facts out, just a lot of rumors. That's just how the internet is today." Warren Hudson, confirmed on the boat that day, now on record calling Nolan his best friend, calling the speculation hurtful, and making something specific clear. In his characterization, this is not a cover-up. It is grief covered by a layer of accusations that have no factual foundation. His mother, Ashley Cole, a sitting Jackson County Chancery Court judge, confirmed Warren's account publicly. He cooperated fully with investigators, told them he last saw Nolan around 3 p.m. and that they departed around 4:30 p.m. when the boat was taking on water. The question this case still cannot answer is not whether Warren Hudson liked Nolan. It is what happened in the window between 3 p.m. and 4:31 p.m. on Horn Island. What Nolan said to Katie, what Nolan's friends understood about his intentions, and whether the word yes, spoken on the CTO call, was honest or not. Warren Hudson says Nolan was his best friend. Ben Crump's team says forensic audio specialists are reviewing the complete CTO emergency call. Both things can be true simultaneously. And neither resolves the central question. Drop your location in the comments right now. Where in the world are you watching from? This case has people watching from across the country and across the globe. Every comment keeps Nolan Wells' name visible. Every view keeps this investigation from fading into the algorithm, and if you have not subscribed yet, do it now. The grand jury has not convened. The state results are sealed. The throat tissue has not been returned. This case is still moving, and when it breaks, you want to be here when it does. On July 22nd, 2026, at the 117th NOC National Convention in Chicago, Ben Crump stood at a podium flanked by Nolan's parents and read from the preliminary report of Dr. Roger A. Mitchell, Jr. Dr. Mitchell is not a peripheral figure. He is board certified in forensic pathology. He is the president of the National Medical Association, the oldest and largest organization of Black physicians in the United States. He is the former chief medical examiner of Washington, D.C. His credentials are not in dispute. What he found, and what he couldn't find, is the center of this entire autopsy story. Mitchell wrote in the preliminary report that he identified several limitations that create barriers to establishing a definitive cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells. The most significant limitation was the inability to directly observe the airway and lungs for water and to directly observe the stomach for gastric contents. Those are the two primary physical markers of drowning: the lungs, the airway, the stomach contents. If Nolan drowned, those organs would show it. Water in the lungs, water in the airways, the stomach content pattern consistent with aspiration. Without examining those organs, Dr. Mitchell could not confirm drowning, and he could not rule out something else. The internal neck structures, including the trachea, were not present in the body when Mitchell received it. They had been removed during the state autopsy. Mitchell wrote that he could not rule out injury to the neck as a contributor or cause of death without those structures. The preliminary report noted an area of red discoloration in the soft tissue at the back of Wells' head. The report does not draw conclusions about how the red discoloration occurred. The cause of the discoloration is described as unclear. Mitchell concluded that he could not determine whether Wells was conscious or unconscious at the time of his death. The independent examination found no skull fractures, no major fractures, and no deep tissue injuries that clearly explained Wells's death. Crump, reading from the report, this pathologist cannot rule out if any intervening non-accidental factors contributed to or caused the death of Nolan Wells. Cannot rule out. That phrase, precise, deliberate, forensically calibrated, is not an accusation. It is the exact language a careful pathologist uses when the evidence does not permit a conclusion in either direction. It means, based on what I was able to examine, I cannot confirm this was a drowning accident, and I cannot confirm it was not. Ben Crump acknowledged the autopsy found no evidence of wrongdoing. He described the findings as inconclusive. That combination, no evidence of wrongdoing, but cannot rule out non-accidental factors, is the precise forensic middle ground this case now occupies. Of all the findings in the independent autopsy, the missing throat structures deserve the most careful examination, because what the throat can tell a forensic pathologist is specific, documented, and directly relevant to the questions this case is asking. Dr. Michelle Dupre, former medical examiner, told News Nation that Wells's body had missing neck structures and organs during the second autopsy, which she says is very important to make a determination of possible strangulation. I understand why the original pathologist has kept this to look at it further, but it does hamper the second autopsy and doesn't give real results. Strangulation. That is the specific forensic possibility Dr. Dupree named in connection with the absence of the throat structures, the hyoid bone, the thyroid cartilage, the internal neck tissues. These are the structures that, in cases of strangulation or neck compression, show the specific damage that identifies how force was applied, in what direction, and with what degree of sustained pressure. Without them, a forensic pathologist examining a body cannot rule strangulation in, and cannot rule it out. Mitchell wrote that he did not receive Wells's internal neck structures, including his trachea. He wrote that he did not know why the initial pathologist kept the neck structures, but added that it is not uncommon to keep these body parts for additional testing if there are concerns of fracture or neck compression. Read that last clause carefully. If there are concerns of fracture or neck compression. The state pathologist who performed the July 7th autopsy kept the neck structures. The specific professional reason for retaining them, described by Mitchell himself, is concern about fracture or neck compression. That does not mean the state pathologist found evidence of neck injury. Retaining tissues for additional testing is documented standard practice. But it means the state pathologist found something in those structures worth examining more closely, and the results of that examination are sealed in a grand jury file. Dr. Mitchell is working to obtain Nolan's throat for examination. It was not present at the time of the second autopsy. The throat is now the single most important physical piece of evidence in this case. Whether the state provides it to Dr. Mitchell, what Dr. Mitchell finds when he examines it, and what Mississippi's grand jury hears about what the state pathologist found when he kept it. Those are the three forensic moments this case is now waiting on. This is the detail that defines the current phase of the Nolan Wells investigation, and it requires careful, precise explanation, because what the DA has done is both legally standard and uniquely consequential in this specific case. On July 23rd, DA Angel Myers-McElrath confirmed in a video statement that the autopsy report of Nolan Wells' death will be withheld until a grand jury can review it. Every death in the county, except those of natural causes and non-criminal car wrecks, is presented to your grand jury, McElrath said. Many people don't know that we have handled death investigations in this manner my entire career. That statement is factually accurate and legally defensible. Presenting unnatural or suspicious death investigations to a grand jury before public disclosure is documented standard practice in many American jurisdictions. It is not, on its own, evidence of suppression or cover-up. But in the context of this specific case, with a family demanding answers, with a national conversation about race and justice in Mississippi, with an independent pathologist who could not rule out foul play, with a 22-page analytical review that identified a material gap in the timeline, the decision to seal the state results until grand jury review means that the most complete forensic picture of what happened to Nolan Wells is now inaccessible to everyone except the people inside that grand jury room. Former Judge Carlos Moore, a civil rights attorney with deep experience in Mississippi's justice system, has warned publicly, if DA McElrath independently determines it was simply accidental drowning, nothing in Mississippi law requires her to take it to a grand jury at all. The fact that it is going to a grand jury suggests the evidence does not neatly support a simple accident conclusion. Attorney Tyler Bailey offered the counterpoint. Grand jury referrals for unnatural deaths are routine in Jackson County. They do not necessarily signal that anything suspicious has been found. Both positions are on record. Both are credentialed. The grand jury will receive the state autopsy, and the state autopsy results are what this entire case is now building toward. The cell phone has been central to this investigation since the beginning. Nolan left it on the boat. It went back to the mainland without him. When his family received it, messages had been deleted, and the mutual inspection, agreed to by Crump's team and the DA on July 15th, has not yet taken place. Attorney Eric Hertz said that after communicating with the Jackson County District Attorney, she would be open to reviewing evidence Crump's team has gathered. Hertz also said they are continuing talks with the DA's office about conducting a joint inspection of phones related to the case. He said he believes the FBI would also be present for that inspection. FBI, that word appearing in connection with the cell phone inspection, is significant. The FBI has been formally confirmed to have assisted with certain aspects of this investigation. If the FBI is present at the cell phone inspection, it means the federal footprint in this case extends beyond the general investigative assistance confirmed in early July. A digital forensic examination of that phone, with both sides' experts present, with the FBI involved, with the deleted messages as the specific target, is the single most direct path to answering what happened on Horn Island between 3 p.m. and 4:31 p.m. on July 4th. Whatever was on that phone before those messages were deleted was there for a reason. Whatever the deletion removed was removed for a reason. Digital forensics does not care about reasons. It reads what the storage medium actually contains, recoverable or not, and reports what it finds. That inspection is coming. The timeline for when it happens has not been publicly confirmed. A reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction in the Nolan Wells case has grown to $125,000, with contributions from several public figures, including Tyler Perry, Colin Kaepernick, and Al Sharpton. Each contribution carries weight beyond the dollar amount. Tyler Perry paying for Nolan's funeral and contributing to the reward. A man with no personal connection to this family, writing checks from his own resources because this case moved him. Colin Kaepernick's Know Your Rights campaign, funding both the independent autopsy and the reward. Al Sharpton, who officiated the funeral service and contributed to the reward, standing at that podium in Ocean Springs and saying he was not bringing race into this, but was not discounting it either. The $125,000 reward is significant in a specific forensic sense. Rewards work in cases like this when they reach the threshold of meaningfulness for the specific community where information is held. In a coastal Mississippi community where working-class families are measuring every dollar, $125,000 is not a symbolic gesture. It is the kind of number that makes a person think very seriously about what they know, who they can trust, and what the right thing to do actually is. The civil rights community has rallied around this family in a way that created both support and complexity. Mississippi Department of Public Safety Commissioner Sean Tindell said Mississippi is a much different place than it was in the past, and pushed back on the characterization that the state cannot fairly investigate the death of a young black man. The tension between those two positions, the community's historical knowledge and the state's insistence that history is not destiny, defines the political and cultural landscape within which the forensic investigation is being conducted. And the grand jury's work will happen inside that landscape, whether anyone acknowledges it or not. As of the first week of August 2026, here is the complete confirmed record of every active thread in the Nolan Wells investigation. The state autopsy, complete, results sealed, going to grand jury. Timeline not confirmed, the independent autopsy, preliminary findings released July 22nd, cause and manner of death, undetermined pending further investigation, cannot rule out non-accidental factors, red discoloration on back of head, cause unclear, throat structures absent, cannot rule out neck injury. Dr. Mitchell, working to obtain throat for examination. The cell phone, mutual inspection agreed. FBI expected to be present. Inspection not yet conducted. Timeline not confirmed. The CTO call. Forensic audio specialists retained by Crump's team are reviewing the complete audio, not just the portions that have been publicly circulated. The ocean engineering analysis. Experts retained to examine whether Nolan's body position when found is consistent with the currents at the specific location and time his friends say he was last seen. The video, a new video surfaced on July 21st. TMZ described it as appearing to show Nolan Wells in his last moments before death. The content of that video has not been independently verified. The family's legal team is aware of it. The 22-page analytical review concluded a material gap in the timeline exists. No conclusion about criminal or civil responsibility. Identified specific evidence investigators still need. The reward, $125,000. Tyler Perry, Colin Kaepernick, Al Sharpton, active, anonymous, confidential. The grand jury, case will be presented. Timeline not confirmed. The state autopsy results, the single document that will tell this story one way or another, sealed, going to the grand jury, not public. There is a particular kind of silence in this case that deserves its own chapter. Because two different kinds of silence are operating simultaneously, and they mean completely different things. The first kind of silence is the state's, the sealed autopsy, the DA's explanation that this is standard procedure, the sheriff's office not releasing the state results. That silence is procedural. It has a documented legal justification. It does not tell us whether the results show accident or something else. It tells us only that the process requires the grand jury to see it first. That silence is consistent with either outcome. The second kind of silence is the friends. Warren Hudson spoke briefly to the New York Post, enough to say Nolan was his best friend, enough to call the accusations hurtful, not enough to describe in detail what he saw or heard in the hours before the boat left the island. The other friends remain represented by counsel and have not given public statements. That silence is also consistent with multiple explanations. A lawyer advises a client not to speak publicly in an active investigation, regardless of what the client knows or doesn't know. That is basic legal counsel. It does not mean the client is hiding something. It means the client has a lawyer. What neither silence tells us is what happened to Nolan Wells on Horn Island between 3 p.m. and 4:31 p.m. on July 4th. The forensic audio review of the CTO call will tell us something about the specific words spoken. The ocean engineering analysis will tell us something about whether the body's position is consistent with the stated version of events. The throat examination will tell us something about what the state pathologist found when he retained those structures for additional testing. And the grand jury will be told what Mississippi's medical examiner concluded after examining a body that an independent pathologist could not reach a definitive conclusion about. Those are the 4 pending forensic events. When they resolve, and they will resolve, the silence in this case will end. One way or another, the evidence will speak. Christine Wansley stood at a podium at the NAACP National Convention in Chicago on July 22, 2026. She was not in Mississippi, where her son died. She was not in Ocean Springs, where his name is on murals and where his friends have posted tributes. She was in a convention center in Illinois, standing next to Ben Crump and Dr. Roger Mitchell and a diagram of her son's body parts, because that is what you do when the answers have not come and you have the platform to demand them. She said the thing that needed to be said, the thing that no forensic analysis and no sealed grand jury file and no sealed autopsy result has yet answered. The only question we have is, what happened to our son? Her husband Elmore said what they know about their son that no investigative file contains. The things that you're telling us, that's not the character of our son. We know our son. Nolan Wells made his mother salmon for dinner on July 3rd. He hugged her, he kissed her, he left. He had a Division I tryout scheduled for the Monday they found him. His father says his character spoke louder than his accomplishments. His coach said the same thing. The people who knew him say the same thing. And none of those people, not one, believed that the Nolan they knew would have stayed behind on a remote island with no phone, no way to call anyone, and no way to reach out if something went wrong. The state autopsy results are sealed. The throat is missing from the independent pathologist's examination. The cell phone inspection has not happened. The forensic audio review is ongoing. The grand jury has not met. But the questions are on the record. In the voice of a mother who traveled to Chicago to ask them publicly, surrounded by civil rights leaders and an independent pathologist who could not clear her son's death as an accident, in front of a national audience that has been asking the same questions since July 6th. The only question they have is what happened to their son. If you were on Horn Island on July 4th, 2026, and you have photos, video, or information about what happened near the northwest or west tip of that island between 3 p.m. and 4:31 p.m., call the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, 228-769-3065 during business hours, 228-769-3063 after hours. The reward is $125,000. Anonymous, confidential, and it was put there by people who believe answers matter, even when the process is slow, even when the silence is loud, even when the only document that might contain the truth is sealed in a room that nobody outside it can enter yet. Nolan Wells deserves answers. This channel will follow every development as it becomes confirmed public record.